from breaking barriers in space to shaping India's future mission, space icon Sunita Williams spoke exclusively to Preeti Choudhry on life beyond active space flight, her love for animals, her bond with Kalpana Chawla, and much, much more. Here's a short excerpt from that exclusive interview. You can catch the full conversation with Sunita Williams this weekend.
I just would, want to begin with the fact of you retiring, 27 years. And, before all of this, I want to ask you, how would you introduce yourself to our listeners, to our audiences? That's Captain Sunita Williams had to introduce herself because you're used to very rich introductions wherever you go.
Yeah.
And, and yesterday I read out a full sheet of that. So I'd like you, if you can introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers, what would you say?
Oh, wow. I would say hi. My name is what my mother used to call me, Sunny Williams. I'm a former Navy helicopter pilot and just retired from NASA as a NASA astronaut.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's where I would go.
That's where you'd go. I just want to take.
I think other things I would probably say is I used to be a competitive swimmer and I love animals. Those are some of the key characteristics about me.
I just would want to add that the kind of records that you've made, 27 years in service with the NASA. And I want to read this out because 3 missions to the International Space Station, 608 days in space, 9 spacewalks, over 62 hours in open space, the most by any woman in history, and also running a marathon, which is the Boston Marathon in space. And there's so much more. When you close this chapter, and as you retire today, as you hang up your astronaut suit, Captain Williams, I want you to take a minute to possibly reflect on what this journey really was. Also, is there serendipity in it that the announcement of your retirement is coming when you're in India because your origin, Indian origin, and most of us back home feel that we have a bit of stakeholder in your life and career and how it's panned out.
Wow. I'm excited about retirement for one thing because I feel like it was good time to leave. The chapter that I lived in for NASA, it was building and working on the International Space Station, and we're coming to the next chapter for NASA. And the next chapter is going back to the moon. All the work that we've done on the International Space Station, I think, is helping us inform our decisions as we make new spacecraft. Think about sustainably living on the moon and how we're going to maybe build a place where people could be there on the moon for a long period of time. All of the data that we have gathered over the last, for the space station, 25 plus years, and that includes all the buildings, that's my whole career, will help inform that next generation of explorers and exploration.
I love that video when you came in and it was homecoming and your 2 dogs.
Oh, I
Your
know.
God, that was so cute. Is that the reason why you had those paw print tattoos on your
Well, it was
program?
funny, like you mentioned in the beginning, how would I describe myself? That's sort of why I would say an animal lover. Like that definitely came from, my mother's side of my family a little bit more, but my father really liked our pets as well later in life. And so I don't know. I've always loved watching animals. I think they're really genuine. They're really pure. They don't have all the distractions, the mess that us humans do, and the pain that we go through by just in our own listening to our own heads, like you were talking about. And I think I value watching them. I value taking lessons learned from them. And that pure joy is something that we have inside of us too. We just sort of suppress it a little
The
bit.
paw print tattoos that you have, are they your dogs?
This was a Jack Russell Terrier that I had I got him in 2001 and I had him until 2017. So he was my old boy, but went through a lot with me as I was training and getting ready to go to space. He traveled with me to Russia when I was training for my second space flight. So he was my little buddy. Yeah.
Captain Williams, it's a personal question and you can choose not to answer it. But the last time you were here, there was a lot of conversation about you wanting to adopt an Indian girl. Your sister had spoken about it and it seemed that there was interest. Um, why didn't you go through with it, or was it something that you battled with in your head? Because the press seemed to suggest that you wanted to adopt a young girl from India.
Well, my sister did adopt 2 children from India.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So, we all had talked about it at different times. My life was a little bit complicated. Both my husband and I were professionals that moved around quite a bit, and I would say, unfortunately, we didn't have children. And I think my biggest goal in life is try to be a positive impact on kids. Probably one of the reasons I love coming and talking to kids. And for me, it really wasn't a feasible idea just because my schedule was so crazy, and I really value my parents. My husband really valued his parents as well, and I think 2 parents in the household with children is a really good idea just to provide a really awesome role models.
You're somebody who speaks all the time in all your interviews. You have spoken about team, about coming in together, making things happen. And something which a lot of us teared up on in India was the hug that you gave 2 days ago to Kalpana Chawla's mother.
Yeah.
And after that, she spoke to the press and she says in Hindi, in chaste Punjabi also,
yeah.
she says, वो तो 3 महीने मेरे साथ रह के गई थी. That when Kalpana Chawla died in that tragic crash, on board uh, in 2003, that you went and stayed with her family for 3 months. And she spoke about Sunita used to come at 9 in the morning and leave at 10 at night. She's like my daughter. Is it standing up for a friend, being a team player? What was it?
Oh, that's what a compliment. She's amazing. So their whole family is amazing, and then a very, very, of course, unexpected and tough time, right? So, just how to try and help people make sense out of the whole situation. Of course, she hadn't lived in India for quite some time, and I was lucky enough to be Kalpana's friend, and so just to share stories about her in the United States and hear stories about her in her lifetime in India. We just spent a lot of time together, and I think it was a little cathartic to just reminisce and talk about her and just relive her life, because it was absolutely a life worth living, and what she was represented and what she wanted in space is something that we in our office absolutely felt like we had to continue along with the rest of the Columbia crew. We weren't going to say like, okay, we're done. We're not flying anymore. We're going to explore in their honor. That's why they were flying in space. All of them were explorers, and we just wanted to continue that. So sharing that ideas, because that is a little bit different than a mother and a daughter having a conversation, but sharing, her perspectives and how the astronaut office wanted to continue their legacy, I think was really important. So I wanted to spend the time with them to make sure they understood that. And for me, it was good just to get to know them. They're just an amazing family. And I'm still in touch with a lot of them. So it's really great.
They have the fondest
Yeah.
thing to say, both
Yeah.
her sister and her mother, about you. But Captain Williams, speaking about the hair, you had quite a few good hair days.
Yes.
In space, didn't you? Something which the president of the United States also noticed.
Yes. The lady with the crazy hair, I think something like that.
Yeah, the lady with the crazy hair, we are bringing you back.
It was nice.
So, is it a reason that you don't tie your hair, or is it just that you want to wear your hair high that day?
No, it's an enclosed environment. I never even asked the question whether or not I could or could not. I didn't even go there because that would cause a lot of people to have to do a lot of work. It's an enclosed environment. There's chemicals with dyeing your hair and stuff like that. I didn't want to cause anybody to have any problems, including myself, in this enclosed environment. So I just let it go.
What scares Captain Sunita Williams? Do you fear anything at all? Because it doesn't seem that you fear anything.
Oh,
You're fearless.
I'm a normal human being, and there's things, of course, like when I'm hiking, I live out in the wilderness, and when I'm hiking, yeah, I'm conscientious of I'm in somebody else's house. There's wild animals, so I'm in their house. I have to be respectful. I wouldn't say I was necessarily scared, but I am conscientious and aware of the wild animals that are out there, right, and respectful of them. So that's one thing. You know. I don't know what else I'm afraid of. For a long time, I was afraid of when it's too dark, so, uh, when I was a kid, and I still have that a little bit. It's always nice to be home with another person versus by yourself when you're alone.
Yeah.
Like you always listen to the cracks and the noises in your house or in your spacecraft or whatever, if you're alone or by yourself at some period of time. So it's always nice to have somebody else around that's a little more comforting. I wouldn't necessarily say I was super scared, but it's uncomfortable.
Have you watched Interstellar?
I've watched part of it. It's a long movie.
Yes.
So I haven't watched the whole thing. So I do need to go back and watch it because it's been recommended a number of times to me. Yeah.
With whatever little bit you watched, did you see any similarities at all?
Yes.
Yes?
There's problems, and you handle them piece by piece by piece, and there's a human aspect of that also, right? So I think we want to maintain our relationships with people, and you don't want to explode or have an get aggravated and stuff because that doesn't really help solve the problem.
We wish you well. We wish you good health. And we hope to see you back in India. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much.